before we really get into it, I do have something I want to address. I honestly don't want to address, but
oh shit,
I feel like it's kind of somewhat of a necessity at this point, considering just the amount of people and just talking about it. And I don't really like to. I go to great lengths to make sure that I'm on the right side of history. Especially recently, I've learned from a lot of mistakes, and I'm careful with my words, and I'm careful with my actions, particularly in this podcasting space. And I'm not doing things to rock the boat or to, but at the same time, I'm not a fucking victim. You know what I mean? Like, right. And I'm not going to allow people to continue to disrespect me, to be hypocrites, to try to like walk over me.
I don't think you sleep well at night if you was to take half the shit that you know people throw at you and shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, keep it with yourself.
So at a certain point, like nah, it's not. I gotta speak up, especially when it's on platforms that I respect and consider allies. Earlier today on the Back on Fig platform, Smack was responding to my Crip Mac interview and had some statements about he didn't feel like it was fair that he was being used for content and that I was stepping into street shit and purposely setting someone up for disrespect. Now, how anybody could glean that if they actually watch the content is beyond me. Because literally the only thing I did in the context, the only time that T-Rail and Smack were brought up was when I was literally talking about how I was catching Crip Mac up to speed about what's going on with No Jumper. And it was in reference to how come you didn't go straight to the No Jumper platform.
So you were talking about a group of people, and they just so happened to be in the mix of the people.
Yes, because what I said is the direct quote was, and there's a paraphrase, but it's damn near a direct quote. I was like, AD, it left. A lot of things have changed in No Jumper. AD left, and he's got his own platform called Community, and he said, shout out to AD. And I said, they clicked up. He said he clicked up with Smack and T-Rail, and before I could even mention Fig Community World, because what I was about to do is state the fact that Fig Community World is actually gaining more traction than No Jumper.
Flowers.
Yeah. You could call it flowers, but I'm not even going to go that far. I was just letting him know what was going on. Like, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The podcast is doing well. It's putting numbers on the board. There's been a big paradigm shift. For people that aren't tuned into the podcast space, they hear the name No Jumper, you'll be like, yeah, No Jumper is where it's at. But anybody that's really been paying attention the past few months, you'd be like, damn. And if you went into a coma in February and someone would have told you that House Phone, T-Rail, AD, all these people that were the pillars of that platform are no longer there, they'd be like, it'd be a shock. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, what? Like, oh, fucking LeBron's not on the Lakers anymore?
Yeah.
So I'm literally trying to explain to this guy what it was. I wasn't like, yo, so you know that AD's clicked up with the Ubers. He's over there with your ops.
The premise of the conversation was general updating.
General updating.
What all that entails.
And I didn't say, how do you feel about T-Rail? How do you feel about... I don't think T-Rail took it right, because he was alluding to the fact like, hey, like, I don't have a problem with Lush. Like, he's not welcomed on Back on Fig anymore. He's like trying to say that, but the other people in the background are kind of chiming in, trying to incense the moment.
Yeah, that's when wires get crossed.
But the reality is, they had no, like, there's no recourse, because I don't think that they actually watched it. I think people just said, this is what you did. And if you did, you watched like a 10-second clip. Yeah. But that's literally all it was. And C-Mac didn't even disrespect them. He was just like, I'm not fucking with them. He didn't call them out their name. He didn't diss their hoods or anything like that.
Right.
So, like, but just let's take it a step further. Something that really doesn't make sense to me. Lush, we don't want to be used for content. Okay. But it's okay to use me for content? Any single thing that happened to me, whether it's dissecting any potential inconsistency in my past, that could be used as content. That could be laughed at. Embarrassing moments of mine, let's put it on blast. Let's take the whole Alki David thing and do content on that. Let's look up lawsuit transcripts and do content on that. Let's you know what I mean? Like, let's do all this shit and bring it to light, laugh about it. Lush gets fired. That's the title of an episode. Let's dissect. And you know what? I understand. It's the content game. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm not allowed to even
say a name.
Mention your name in the presence of somebody that they're static with. And look, I understand the ramifications are a bit more severe when you're talking about gang shit and beefs, but you know, we're talking about people that are that have transcended that and are successful in the podcasting space. Some of the most prominent figures, if you really want to look at it, I look at like T-Rail and Smack and them, some of the most prominent figures in LA media. Because like, how do people consume media nowadays? How do people consume media nowadays? Podcasts. More people are watching podcasts to get updated about things than they are. Blogs are dead. Who the fuck goes to, you know what I mean? Like, even Hip Hop DX, most of their content's on YouTube.
Yeah, fools are tapped into podcasts, like straight syndications and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
People are going to podcasts. So what I wasn't doing was causing trouble. Anytime a beef with gangs he mentioned, I was like, oh, okay, next subject. Or, you know, when he was like, I'm making the enemy's moms cry, I was like, I don't think it's cool to make moms cry. I understand that's part of the lifestyle.
I caught that too. I was like, that was a bit much.
Yeah, like, and in fact, you know, when he was talking about cripping, and I was like, let's lean into the historical aspects, the positive aspects of cripping. You know, how this came from a hybrid from the Black Panther organization, you know, Community Revolutionaries in Progress. And then Crip Mac like gave his, well, actually it stands for killing all customers or whatever he said, you know what I mean? Like, and like, okay, like that was to the point where the interview was getting more and more malt liquor induced and just kind of deviating. And I was like, you know, I feel like this has been a great discussion. I'll put that, I feel like I humanized Crip Mac in a way that most people weren't able to do, had a real straightforward dialogue with him, and I feel like it was reaching its logical conclusion. I wasn't there to, of course, like when he's saying funny shit, we're gonna laugh. You know what I mean? Like I'm not laughing at gang disses. I'm not laughing at disrespect. And if something was said disrespectful, if he had been like, well, fuck, I've been like, hey, you know, like, I understand there's a lot behind that,
you would
but
have been able to facilitate that.
I'd be like, you know, I fuck with bro. I'm cool with bro. It didn't even get to that point though. It didn't even get to that point. So I just wanted to clear that up, and I think it's just the inconsistencies, the hypocrisy. It's like it's a bit much. You know what I mean? And it just shows like how much do people really fuck with me? Like obviously, we like. It's questionable. I think some people do. I think some of them over there do to an extent. Like, you know, like I know that AD is a homie. T-Rail I consider a homie. Smack, I consider them homies. But like when people aren't, this is like the big moment for me thus far in my solo podcast journey with my new endeavor and my new partners. Boom, we getting shit set off. Motherfuckers ain't like, oh, good job, Lush. That was a dope interview. The whole entire internet, 98% of the fans are like, damn, that was a huge W. But people I fuck with aren't hitting me up and saying that. I'm not being like, there's talk of me being invited back to that platform. I would love to go back and fuck with them in their platform. You know, I consider, like I said in the beginning, I consider Community World allies. I consider, you know, Duno, AD, all the punk, they all cool. Like I ain't got no issues with them. But like at the same time, how cool are we? Like do you all like, instead of being like, well, damn, Lush, blah, 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 blah. That's all you say about it. You know what I mean? Right. Not like, that was a dope interview. Props to the homie for getting it lit. You know, I wasn't really feeling how, you know, I felt like, you know, like you brought up our name. You know that bro don't fuck with us. The first
response to it was what you did. That's it.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing said. T-Rail was like low-key giving props to it, I felt like, but his voice was kind of getting obstructed at that moment. And like, look, I know ultimately, like, hey, that's Smack's narrative. He comes in peace. But I feel like I've been used as content on every single one of those platforms several times over. Laughed at, dissected, ridiculed, clowned, called all types of things that have ramifications in my real life. But if I merely bring up a name in a non-disrespectful way, like you said earlier, if anything, it's giving props. It's like like you like y'all these.
That's how I've seen it.
Hey, guess what, Crip Mac? These guys are killing No Jumper right now. They're doing better than No Jumper. AD, T-Rail, and them. Oh, I know, like you don't fuck with T-Rail or whatever, but guess what? Like, he's actually killing shit right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the whole point of, like, so.
I mean, them brothers, them over there know how Mac feel about. They already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So for them to kind of come at you about bringing it up, you don't have no control over the brother's response.
And he didn't even say anything crazy. Like, I thought he was going to let me finish the sentence and be like, oh, okay, well, 5 name or 5-5. I thought he was going to, be like, oh, wow, that's crazy that they got their shit popping like that. And maybe be like, well, you know, I don't fuck with T-Rail. He's a custer, like, whatever. But, like, and then if he did that, I would have been like, well, I'm cool with T-Rail. Like, I understand the politics between 5 y'all, whatever. Like,
that was a bit much, man. It's like, don't say our names. Like, I don't know, man.
But literally, all I said, the exact quote was, AD got his own platform called Community, and they clicked up with T-Rail and Smack. That's it. It wasn't like, what do you think about T-Rail and Smack? Would you ever do content with them? Like, I know what the fuck I'm purposely avoiding asking questions like that. You know what I mean? He brought up the fade with Jap 5. Of course I'm going to talk about that, but that's, you know, like, and he was showing respect to Jap 5 and that, I don't know. There's not too much more to dissect. That's how I feel. Period. That's it. No disrespect, but I'm not going to allow people to continue to disrespect me. I was contemplating calling into their platform, but it's like all that would have happened is then they would have continued to control the narrative, been able to laugh about me or make little comments after I hung up, minimize what I'm saying.
It's all about what you respond to, too. You know what I'm saying? If you spotted, you to 9 times out of 10 got in this shit, and if that's showing up on your radar like that to where it make you feel some type of way. You know, everything, a motherfucker's solid shit going on around them. They don't go with the flow of the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just be unmoved by it, man. You know.
Yeah, and honestly, like and Smack's a hilarious dude. I actually really have a lot of love for Smack. It's every single time. The energy is not like I can't give back what's coming my way. Pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just at a certain point. I would say it's disappointing, but I understand that. It's like, okay, we're in the content game, but yo, don't use us for content. We could use you for content, but don't use this for content. It's like it's such an obscure line that don't make sense.
It ain't shit.
And honestly, I'm at the point where I would say I'm exhausted by it, but guess what? I'm here for this shit. I've been fucking doing content for before I knew what the word even fucking meant. And now I'm in this game, and Lush World is, we here. We doing the motherfucking damn thing.
You went and picked the brother up from the Delano and got the interview out and done. You did that.
Yeah.
So any other little shit under that is just, I don't see it taking much shine from, you know, pulling that interview off, you know.
Yeah, I think it's unnecessary to. There's really not too much that
it is a little annoying though, like you know.
Yeah, at this point. But look, I get it. You know, no love lost on my end, but that's what I have to say about it. If like T-Rail said, you know, like, look, here's the thing. I would have been hitting up T-Rail more about getting back on but there's like T-Rail got 30 people in his immediate circle that he needs to have places for. You know what I mean? And it's just like me when I'm booking a battle rap event and there's 80 people that I've told I want to book for an event, but I can only book 16 of them because there's only 8 battles on a card.
Yeah.
So, okay, like, I get it, and I don't want to add to that pressure. If he want to work with me, he want me to do whatever content like we had previously discussed, I'm down for it. It is what it is. You feel me? But I ain't going to press him. We got our own shit cracking.
Everybody happy. Everybody ain't going to be happy all the time. So, you know, you just got to stay driven on your plan of actions and make sure you executing that on the solid. Just stay down for your crown, and everything else will fall where it may. Even if it's feelings, you know, it is what it is and shit.
If you rocking with it, drop the cocaine bot emojis in the chat. Bot Mafia. Run up the likes, comment, share, quit playing with us. Don't play with us, make plays with us.